Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about an upcoming snowstorm for the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and some of the plains as well. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very awesome Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Alright, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, how long do you think until we see another snowstorm for the northeastern United States? Give me an estimated date that you think we could see one, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look actually at about this morning, because as of this morning we are seeing some freezing rain, potentially some sleet, some ice going on in those pinks and yellow regions. This is going to be a storm that's going to have a lot of mixed precipitation with it on that eastern edge especially. On the western edge we could deal with some very heavy snowfall and some large amounts of accumulation as well. We can see that there is some snow falling for Nebraska, so if you're waking up in northern Nebraska, especially this morning, you could be seeing some snowfall already occurring. It's as we move towards approximately what I would say is probably about 12 p.m. today. You can see that in northern Nebraska, the snow starts to really pick up, and that goes for southern, or especially southeastern South Dakota as well. And then kind of on that border of Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota, where we have very close proximity between all of those states there in that corner. We're starting to see snowfall there as well. Just to the east of there, we're seeing sleet and freezing rain though, and some pretty heavy freezing rain for Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin going on. That could lead to some issues, obviously, so we'll watch that closely. What we're going to do is we're going to move on towards where that snow could get even heavier and more widespread towards this afternoon. Alright, now we're taking a look at what I would say is probably about 2 p.m. on Tuesday, November 10th, which is today from the time I'm making this video. As you can see, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa is starting to get more in on some of that heavier snowfall. Northeastern Nebraska, you're still seeing some heavier snowfall there as well. So we're seeing kind of that corridor of medium to heavy snowfall. It's going to start accumulating for these areas as it has been in the form of all snow this entire storm. So I do expect to get some quite decent accumulations here. And as we take it towards maybe about 8 p.m. tonight on Tuesday, November 10th still, we do see that in South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, we're still dealing with heavy snowfall, especially Minnesota there though, as we're seeing very widespread moderate to heavy snowfall going on. As you can see, there's less freezing rain, less sleet going on, and more just, I guess, straight heavy snowfall going on throughout most of these states by this point. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards the overnight hours of Wednesday. So heading into Wednesday, early on Wednesday, November 11th, and we're going to see this one exit through the upper Midwest, and then we're going to start taking a look at total snowfall numbers according to many of these models. Now, as you can see, we're actually taking a look at more of a zoomed in look at the upper Midwest by this point. Heavy snowfall going on for pretty much all of eastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin by this point. We are seeing some mixing issues there for northern Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan by this point as well. Very interesting setup we see here, and again, this is really going to start to accumulate quickly as we see some very heavy snowfall. We're going to take a look at those snowfall models in just a moment, but it is looking quite heavy. By the way, for this simulated radar, we've been using our HRDPS model, and you might be more familiar with the RGEM model, which is our high-resolution Canadian model. This is an even higher resolution model than that one, but they correlate almost directly. This has been one of my favorite models for years, and I continued to use it throughout the years that I've been doing direct weather, and it has been one of the more accurate high-resolution models. It usually beats out the NAM model and any other high-resolution model, so this is the best of the best for snowfall at least. It doesn't really cover the southern United States, so you can't really use it for tropics or anything like that, but for snowfall, strictly, this is a very good model. But again, you can't use it for the southern United States. If you go on Tropical Tidbits or any other model website, you will notice that you can't really see it down below. I don't really know why that is, but some models just do that. If you want to use a high-resolution Canadian model for the southern United States, though, you can use the regular RGEM model, as that one will use all the way to the very southern extent of the United States. All right. Now, let's just go ahead and take this to about, I would say this is about 3 a.m. on Wednesday, November 11th, and as you can see, a lot of the heaviest snowfall has now moved into northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin there. just by Lake Superior there, and I really feel like this is an area that is going to see the most snowfall there, right on the border of northern Wisconsin and northern Minnesota. I'm expecting a good 6 to 10 inches of snow in this region, so be on the lookout for that. We are going to be seeing, again, some heavy snowfall throughout this region. It's going to lead to accumulating snowfall. A good 6 to 10 inches, possibly more than 10 depending on how this storm performs. If it overperforms, definitely could see more than 10. And then as we take a look at approximately maybe 7 a.m., right around sunrise here, you can see the snowfall will be coming to an end for the United States. So we're going to see this one closing out. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at the total snowfall according to, first off, the high-resolution Canadian model, the NAM model, the European model, and then the GFS model, the Canadian model, and then our German model. All right, now first things first, we're taking a look at our high-resolution Canadian model here, and really, if you're in the grays, I've been saying this all season, I wouldn't expect any accumulations, really. I think that's mostly going to be reserved for the blues, and the reason is this doesn't really take into account how much snow is going to accumulate. This is how much is going to fall from the sky. So usually these totals are a little bit higher, especially on those areas that expect to see more of a mixed precipitation, so especially on that eastern edge of the storm. If you're in the blues, you're anywhere from about 1 inch to 5 inches of snow. I would say if you're in the purples, that's where you're in that 6 to 9 inches of snow. And in those pinks is where you're at about 9 to 14 plus inches of snow, potentially more here. So we're definitely taking a look at a lot of snowfall here. There is some widespread pinks throughout Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, and then even through northern Wisconsin and northern Minnesota. They're near those areas near Lake Superior, like I was saying before. Those are kind of the two bullseye areas at this point. All right. Now let's just go ahead and move on and take a look at our NAM 3KM model, which is our other high-resolution model, but this one is not the better of the two. Like I said, I think the high-resolution Canadian model does a lot better. Same thing goes here as the Canadian model. Grays don't really expect any accumulation. Blues is about 1 inch to 5 inches of snow. In those purples is where you expect to see more like 6 to 9 inches of snow. And in those pinks is where you're at about 9 inches plus. Again, southern Minnesota, they're on the borders of Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska. Do see some of those pinks, as well as northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin seeing some of that. I really feel like northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin will see more than that southern Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota region. But we will definitely wait and see. Both regions expect to see quite a bit of snowfall, so it doesn't really matter who sees more snowfall. They're both going to see a lot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at our final 4 models. We're going to take a look at that European model, GFS model, Canadian model, and German model. All right, now here is that European model, and as you can see, we're going to see generally, according to this model, heavy snowfall throughout that region there in Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa, but it also has an equal amount there for northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. Notice this is a little lower resolution. That's because this is a lower resolution model. The 2 models we took a look at before are more high resolution models, so we're going to start talking about some lower resolution ones here. Let's just take a look at the American model, or the GFS is what we call it. And here it has generally those pinks showing up for Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota as well. Also up there for Minnesota and Wisconsin. So really this is showing a very similar outlook to the rest of our models, especially the European model has good agreement with the GFS model here. We are very close to this storm, so I don't expect these models to really disagree. So seeing the agreement here is a good sign. I really feel like they have a very solid foundation idea of what's going to be occurring here. So here's our Canadian model, and this one really has much heavier snowfall there for southern Minnesota, Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska, upwards of maybe 16 inches of snow in those pinks. And then it doesn't really have the heavy snowfall for northern Minnesota or northern Wisconsin. Very odd to see this disagreeing that much, but this isn't known for being one of the better models anyway, so not very surprising here at all. The most surprising outlook here is our Icon model. Take a look at this. Only expecting maybe 2 to 6 inches of snow, with the most being for northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. We're only 39 hours away from this storm being all said and done, and we see this model showing possibly half the amount of snow of the rest of the models. So this is kind of the worst case scenario bust potential outlook, I guess. Very odd to see this model disagreeing that much. I just wanted to show it so we can keep all the options on the table, obviously. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think we will see a flip at any point during November? And Andrew Wells said, I think we will see a flip a pattern flip around Thanksgiving week, and I do think that is a good possibility, so I agree there for sure. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our diamond patrons, Michael Codalessa, Madbirds, Felix Wheatfield, Michael Buell, Alicia Davis, Catbite, Terry Curtis, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Kellen Manhart, Mariah Vieira, Noah Harley, and Mark J, alongside our platinum patrons Adam S, Gary Fiffle, Justin Quantrell, Donna Carnes, Alan Belemo, Larry LePan, Dovey Nagel, James Wade, and Cameron Marshall. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you would like to end up on this Patreon end screen, you can do so by joining our Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.